How do you feel about your game so far in MSI and for today?
The games so far in MSI for us have been kind of disappointing. Well, the games a bit against Order were like as expected, and then the games against G2 we were in good positions in a lot of them and weren't able to win, right? So that sucks, but at the same time we're aware that the games in this phase, in the group stage, don't matter as much as long as we make it. There's no difference between seed 1 and 2, and if we're able to take G2 out in the Rumble stage, then those wins will be a lot more impactful for like going to the knockout stage, right? So we're disappointed that this is, I don't mean this is an excuse that we weren't trying as hard as we could to win, but we're not letting it affect us too much since we know the importance of the games, I guess.
The next stage is more important, getting through that. How do you feel a little bit tired after these back-to-back games like this today? Or do you feel like still energetic and everything?
I am tired after these games. Yeah, we had to play 4 games and I'm hungry now. But thankfully we can go back to the hotel and eat food. That'll be nice.
So what do you feel about your overall condition at MSI so far? Playing in an international tournament, a big tournament, so what do you feel about that?
I feel like my play hasn't been the best. Definitely room to improve. I think I'll definitely switch my playstyle going into the next round, and I'll play a lot more carefully because I was playing a bit carefree or like going for too many plays. Specifically in the games against G2, I was like trying to do too much in some games. So yeah, just like tuning it down, going for smarter plays, just reading the situation better, stuff like that. I think will help me with my like own play, individual play, because I don't think I was playing at my best this group phase.
So how do you feel personally about this NA and EU rivalry going on like from forever? Do you think it's a good narrative, or do you feel like it's a lot of pressure, or feel it lightly, like it's good for the competition, or what do you actually think about this?
There's some pressure because the entire fan base is like usually at each other's throat, but at the same time we are like widely considered as the underdog in that rivalry, so there's not so much pressure on us as there is on EU usually. So I don't really feel much pressure on that end. I do think the competition is super fun, and it's always fun to play against EU because there's usually banter going on, and you kind of know like their players more than you would know for a different region, just because they use English to communicate in game compared to some other teams from different regions. So you're like able to know people more, I guess, and then that makes for the games being more fun. And yeah, the competition is good. Sadly, it was a bit one-sided so far, but we'll see in the normal stage.
Okay. So like there's a lot of imports in NA. How do you feel about that kind of situation? Because we all know that people kept saying that how like there's like a lot of imports in NA and how like EU always come over. What do you think about that narrative?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of imports in NA. I think it's kind of needed. I think obviously there's talent in NA, but there's fewer people that are competitive like on the world stage. So it's always kind of needed to have imports on your team. And yeah, I think it makes sense EU doesn't have imports or doesn't have many, since well, they're obviously their own development leagues and ERLs and everything. They have like plenty of systems built up to like build up talent. They have many more players and many more people who play the game a lot and are talented, so it'll be easier for them to not have to import. And it does feel like we don't have as many of those players that are like, I guess, want to call it talented, and so it makes sense to import. And I think
but you guys won. You guys won LCS, right? And you guys don't have that much imports compared to other teams. So what do you think about that change? Like, is it a good thing, or what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very good sign that we won with 2 very young players. Jojo's first split, he's 17, and Danny's second split, he's 18, and they were both key members in our team for winning the whole thing. So I think it's a very good thing. Maybe team owners will be looking at potential players to develop now, and maybe they're like thinking twice about importing the next Korean player. So I think it's good, but at the same time I still don't want to take away credit from Impact and Inspired, who were very massive performers throughout the whole playoffs in NA, and I feel like they are overlooked when there's like the talk about EG or narratives or whatever it is. It does feel like it's very centered on Jojo and Danny, when I feel like it was a team effort, and Inspired smurfed, Impact was smurfing the whole weekend in Houston. So yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's kind of changed your team winning LCS? Kind of changed the dynamic of the whole import situation in LCS? Like telling everyone that we can win and we're here at MSI.
Yeah, I mean, I think people will definitely respect young NA players more and give them a chance potentially. And well, it doesn't mean that because Jojo and Danny won that there's plenty of people with talent spamming solo every day. But maybe people will just look at it a little bit more and consider it possible, right? Since we won with any rookie in his first split, and Danny as well was also super young. So there you go.
So what do you think NA could do more to support local young players, like the two young players on your team? Like, is there anything they can do more, or like to learn from you guys? Is there any suggestions that the scene can grow for like more local players?
I'm not sure. I mean, people always talk about what can be done. I feel like, at least at EG, they don't spend that much time. Like, the academy players don't spend that much time hanging out with LCS players and looking and talking about the game. So maybe that's something that we could do better for EG specifically. I don't know exactly how other teams do it. I know in Cloud9, they feel like the academy team and the LCS team were like a bit closer and hanging out more. So maybe that's better, just having like that interaction, that relationship to talk about the game and things like that would be pretty useful. And if we're talking about like a systemic change, I'm not sure. I mean, Academy is not too important. I don't know what Riot can do to make it more worthwhile for teams to like actually go for an Academy trophy or whatever, but that's also not necessarily the goal of Academy for some teams. They want to develop players. So it's like I don't know, it's like you can go many different ways. I'm not sure which one is best, but probably my idea would be to have LCS and Academy players interact more. Probably can't go wrong with that.
Okay. So you were also named the King of the Spring in LCS, am I right? So in LPL, there's also a player called Xiaohu. He also has that kind of nickname because he plays very well in Spring. So do you look forward to meeting him and playing against the kind of same have the same title as you, or have you heard of this player before?
I've heard of Xiaohu before. I've played against him in different tournaments too, in different roles. I played against him when he was playing mid, and I played against him when he was playing top. I did not know that he was also like kind of the King of Spring. It'll be fun to see who's the better King of Spring in the Rumble stage. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I also hope I can win a summer title eventually, so I'm not like the King of Spring and people use it in a meme way. So
well, it's a compliment, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So, who is your favorite player on the team? For RNG, actually, you're kind of curious. Since you played Xiaohu so many times, do you know the team well? Like, who's your favorite player?
I know the team. Bin, Wei, Xiaohu, Gala, and Ming. Probably Ming, just because he plays my role. He plays it very well, and he's been there for a very long time, always performing, and he plays the kind of champs that I like playing a lot. Like playmaking and engaging, and he's very good at that. So it's always fun to see him play, and playing against him is always very challenging. So Ming is my favorite player on RNG. Okay.
So last thing, if you have anything you want to say to your fans across the globe, and you can say it.
Yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks to everyone for cheering for us. Sorry we can VG too, but don't give up on us yet. We can and will take them out in the Rumble stage. So keep cheering for us, and we'll see you guys there.
Thank you so much for the very informative interview. Hopefully you guys can play well in the Rumble stage.
Thank you.
Okay.